Hey, it's Clash of MMA. In one of the previous videos, we discussed the best boxers among the UFC fighters. The comment section was full of names of fighters who are not on the list, and you think they should be. So here we go again. Before we start, we advise you to check out the previous video, and if you're new to the channel, make sure to liver shot that subscribe button and enjoy today's content.
He's defended the title more than anybody. He knocked out Fabricio Verdun, was one of the best ever. He knocked out Alistair Overeem. He beat Francis Ngannou, who everybody was fucking terrified of, and Francis has been blowing everybody out of the water, including Alistair Overeem. I just think, and knocked out Junior Dos Santos.
Without any order on the list, we will begin with the greatest heavyweight of all time, Stipe Miočić. With all the fuss over Jon Jones defending his title against Cleveland's finest, we forget how dangerous a fighter Stipe is. Every heavyweight who thought he was the best boxer in the division quickly changed his mind when he faced the Fireman. This is no wonder because Stipe was the amateur Golden Gloves boxing champion in 2009. Although he is a complete fighter, Miočić never misses an opportunity to show his boxing dances. Proving the basics will always win. He's strong and agile and mostly controlled stand-up exchanges, making a pocket a place you don't want to be. His hands don't need much swing to generate power, as evidenced by 20 wins and 15 knockouts.
Usually you come in and out a lot. This time you really pushed the action. You were in Mark's face, you were in the pocket trading with him. Was that to prove a point, to show everybody that in the striking department you do have an advantage? Because everybody was saying Mark had an advantage in that department.
You said, Mark, he's got bombs in his hands like everyone says, and he does, but, I feel like my boxing is one of the best in the heavyweight division, and, I approve that.
As for his defense, the first fight against Francis Ngannou is a great example. For 25 minutes, he dodged Predator's bombs and showed his head movement and precise attacks from the counter. Daniel Cormier gave him big problems in the match, but Stipe's boxing expertise triumphed in the end. In this fight, the emphasis was on his big adaptation in the later rounds, where he dismantled DC's body with left hooks and then knocked him out with blows to the head. Of course, with the help of excellent footwork and angles. Once the opponent's back is facing the fence, sleeping is inevitable.
I think Stipe is the best of all time.
A huge demand was for Della Maddalena, who is on a winning rampage. 17 consecutive wins and 12 knockouts. The young Australian started his combat story at 14 when he joined a boxing gym and fell in love with the sport. With his boxing expertise, it's a wonder he hasn't made his debut yet. Maddalena uses high guard, head movement, and amazing footwork to set up counter shots. He slips back or to the side out and retaliates with a perfect shot. Smooth, technical, and very intelligent. He may not be the best boxer in the UFC, but he is 100% in the welterweight division. He has one of the best boxing combinations in the game, throwing punches in bunches.
Yeah, the game plan was just to chuck the jab out in his face and see what happens, whether the jab was the left hand or the right hand.
Although the jab is his favorite weapon, which is effective even without wind-up, Della has crisp hooks and uppercuts. Dangerous at a distance and in the pocket where he is fearless. Jack will rip the opponent's body to force him to cover and then attack his unprotected head. Jack's next opponent should prepare well for the siege of his fast fists because every punch he fires could be last.
Yeah, he's very good at striking too. He's, in my opinion, he's like one of the best in the sport at mixing up shots from the body to the head. Because so many fighters, for whatever reason, are headhunters. But Jack is so good at mixing shots up to the body and to the head. I mean, he just breaks guys down.
Hate him or love him, today's discussion will not go without Notorious, the man who made the crossover of MMA's fighters into the boxing ring viral. His fists are precise and powerful, especially the well-known quick left.
I call it the touch of death. He's got that left hand. It's the touch of death.
This southpaw is a superb counterpuncher and is one of those fighters you mustn't miss going forward. If you do, the fight is 100% over. Conor would love it if only fists could be used in the cage because wrestlers are his biggest weakness. But when the fight is on the feet, that's where McGregor operates. Unless it's Dustin Poirier. Across from him, though...
Shut your fucking mouth!
Even DP admitted indifferently that McGregor is the strongest puncher he has faced.
You say, when this guy punches, it's the heavy. He packs a punch. Who's above everybody?
Conor McGregor, no doubt about it. That as the biggest puncher I've fought,
Yes.
yeah.
Oh,
He's special individual for sure.
During his prime, Conor used a hybrid fighting style where he stood in a karate stance and punched like a boxer, hard and precise with a solid but dynamic base. He used excellent range control where opponents would miss him by a hair, and he would spill them on the canvas like a bottle of proper 12. You could rarely see him off balance, and his mechanics were always at a desirable level. Constant movement and a lot of feints. 22 wins, 19 knockouts, and everything was good until he forgot his old stance and adapted to the MMA fight as if it were a boxing match. That Floyd Mayweather payday really messed him up. If he ever wants to come back, he better bring his old fighting stance. Although everyone will agree that the competition of top boxers in the UFC has never been better, it would be interesting to see how he would match against them. Moving on to a man with a similar signature strike to McGregor, it's Alex Pereira, and his superpower, the left hook.
Guys, I think we could say he's the greatest striker on earth. Pound for pound, he is the greatest striker on earth.
Before becoming the Glory champion, Pereira bullied guys in the amateur days of boxing. He participated in 28 fights, and in 25 victories, he has all knockouts. To give you an idea of how impressive this is, it's not easy to knock out an opponent through a protective helmet, especially not members of the Brazilian national team who later became professional boxers. There's no need to talk about his punching power, which is why people often forget how accurate he is. Poatan is crafty and doesn't telegraph his strikes, making him hard to read, and he really picks his shots. However, the fact that he does not protect his head and still pulls out the thick end is incredible. The man literally keeps his hands down and never gets knocked out. Well, almost never. And that's thanks to his sharp eye, which can see shots coming. His defense is weird but effective. Although he doesn't mind being hit, Alex moves his head with supreme reflexes and slips and rolls with punches to deliver countering blows. Still, if you understand boxing, you know that Alex's low guard would be a nightmare for many boxing coaches. No man in the world would want to see him in a boxing bout in the future, especially with his level of stardom today.
Dana White announced that he's going to be getting into boxing 2025. Would you be boxing one day?
Absolutely, I'll express my will to go boxing one day. Many boxers say that MMA fighters cannot go toe-to-toe with boxing. Alex believed that not only him, but many other fighters could do that too.
In 2017, Alex already made his debut in the boxing ring and finished his opponent with a TKO. If you ask how, the answer is obvious. It's a left hook. The current interim heavyweight champion with 15 wins and 12 knockouts is a feared man in the division. Tommy Aspinall has a 67% striking accuracy, and his knockouts come shortly after the first bell. You go to your garage to get some snacks and liquid for your boys, and you might miss his fight. Even on his boxing debut, Aspinall didn't stay long in the ring. It seems he knows no other way than to present himself with a quick KO, but that's what happens when you have Tyson Fury as a sparring partner.
But I think the amount of sparring that I've done makes me feel comfortable.
And talking of his sparring, obviously you're in a very well-known, worldwide known gym.
That's right.
You get the best of sparring.
Yeah, I do.
And of course that brings you on, in a way, better than a lot of the heavyweights.
That's right, definitely. Like every time I spar, basically I'm sparring with someone better than me. So there's only one way I can go, and that's like straight up.
He almost quit MMA because he struggled financially and wanted to pursue boxing. Judging by his skill, he would earn a lot of money, but his path brought him to the UFC, where he eliminates opponents just as effectively. Jab and cross with a quick entry, and it is all over. Tom comes from a grappling background, which makes his killer hands even more amazing. His score and the way he finishes fights says it all. It is his short time that makes it difficult to analyze him, both for us and his opponents. But some things are clear. Tommy is powerful and explosive, and what is most impressive, he has two fast hands for a big guy. He uses quality head movement and angles, and against Sergey Pavlovich, he showed that his chin can take shots. What an amazing heavyweight he is, 100% the best boxer in the division. Now imagine the fist fight between him and Stipe Miočić.